Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zachary, back bringing some more daily NBA news and highlights. As always, you guys are the real MVPs, you're coming back each and every single day, can't thank you enough, but now let's just get into everything that is going on in the NBA. But first, a quick word about this video sponsor, Yabwear. This company has already been selling some pretty dope clothes for a while, but they were interested in starting up an NBA line of clothes, with some of the most popular players on shirts, hoodies, sweaters, hats, all different types of clothes and all different types of colors as well. They sent me out a Ben Simmons shirt in black that I'm actually wearing this video, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dope. So I'll have the link down in the description box below if you want to go check them out. And by the way, you can use my promo code ZachLee to get $5 off any order. But now with that out the way, let's get into the video. Let's go. Bro, screw this NBA season, like for real. It was supposed to have been so great with all the moves that were made over the offseason, this and that happened, Kyrie on the Celtics. It was supposed to be one of the best NBA seasons ever, but now because of all the injuries, it's just been so messed up. Yet another NBA player is done for the season. Kyrie Irving, as Adrian Wojnarowski just tweeted that Kyrie Irving will miss the rest of the regular season and the playoffs due to the knee surgery that he just had that was originally only supposed to keep him out for 3 to 6 weeks, but now he is not coming back at all. Well, you know that LeBron Kyrie playoff series that we're all hoping to see? Yeah, looks like that's not happening. And to any Celtics fans out there, I'm sorry, I truly am. This has been such an up and down, hard, emotional season for you guys. First, you lose Gordon and Hayward. You bounce back, you're still balling out. So I guess the basketball gods were like, you know what? They're not supposed to be winning this season. So Kyrie, you're done now. Just to make sure you guys don't mess around and make the NBA finals. But seriously, like we get this news right before the playoffs start. Like a week and a half before the playoffs start, and we learned that, you know what? We're not gonna get to see Kyrie Irving anymore either. I'm so done with this NBA season. These injuries are really getting ridiculous. Everyone's favorite rookie, Donovan Mitchell, was a guest on a podcast yesterday. And you guys remember in yesterday's video when I kind of went off on the Charlotte Hornets for not playing Malik Monk all season long, besides in trash games, and also now since they've been eliminated from the playoffs, so they're just letting him play because this season is over for them. And now that he's actually playing, he's showing them that he can play, that he could have helped them all season long given the chance. Well, Donovan Mitchell pretty much touched on that exact topic in the podcast, as he said the reason that he's able to play the way that he does, the reason that he doesn't look like the typical rookie, is because he's allowed to actually play, allowed to go out in the game, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and keep playing, keep getting better. The biggest thing is playing through my mistakes, and they've let me do that. Just hard work. I still have a lot to learn, and I'm still making mistakes. It's allowing me to correct them and gain things that I didn't have at the beginning of the season. A lot of the times when a rookie does something that the coach doesn't like, makes a mistake or two, they'll get taken out of the game and maybe put in the doghouse for it. Some of these coaches have rookies on such a short leash that it's honestly ridiculous, and it hurts the player's development a lot. Donovan Mitchell just admitted that if he wasn't given the opportunities that he was given, that he wouldn't be the same player that he is today. These rookies get drafted for a reason, especially the ones that are taken in the lottery, picks 1 through 15. Sure, some of them just don't work out. Some of them turn out to be a bust because they can't adjust to the NBA game for one reason or another. But it really frustrates me when a rookie has a game or two early in the season where they show glimpses of their potential, where they show that they belong in the NBA and that they can play at this level, but then for some reason they fall out of the rotation and never get back into a game. Only during garbage minutes, or when they do get into the game, if they miss a shot or make a single mistake, they're taken immediately out of the game. It's ridiculous. Malik Monk was getting playing time at the beginning of the season, and he had games where he showed us his potential towards the beginning of the season. He had a game against the Milwaukee Bucks where I believe he scored like 16 points in the 4th quarter alone. But then not too long after that, all of a sudden, no more Malik Monk. It just leaves you thinking about how great they could have been if they were given consistent opportunities to show what they can do. They were allowed to develop in the game, because nothing can replace actual in-game experience. No amount of practice, no amount of D-League, G-League, nothing can replace in-game experience, being allowed to make mistakes and learning from those mistakes during a live game. And what's really mind-boggling about this is most of the teams that do this, most of the teams that treat rookies this way are teams that are fringe playoff teams that are fighting for one of the last spots of the playoffs in their conference. They value making the A seed and getting swept in the first round more than actually developing their young talent, and most of the time they don't get into the playoffs anyway. So CJ McCollum is the latest player to give us his hot take on the Kawhi Leonard San Antonio Antonio Spurs situation. And his hot take was more of a stale take at this point. So CJ McCollum just launched his own podcast the other day. And like I said, in his podcast, the topic of the Spurs came up and what's going on with Kawhi Leonard. And like many more around the league, CJ believes that Kawhi Leonard wants to play in LA. As he said, it's a very sticky situation right now in San Antonio. I'm gonna put it like this. He's from California. There's a lot of cap space out there in California. Like I said, his hot take is a pretty stale take. The one thing I do want to say about this whole Kawhi Leonard to LA scenario though is that he has been working out with Kobe Bryant a lot over the offseason. And who knows if Kobe had some influence of what's going on with Kawhi Leonard this year. Other than that, yes, he is from LA, and the Lakers did say earlier in the season that they're going to be looking more towards the free agents of 2019, that is if they miss out on LeBron James this summer. And Kawhi Leonard will be a free agent in 2019 if he and the Spurs do not reach a contract agreement before then. But regardless of all of that, I still can't put too much stock in this whole Kawhi to LA thing, because if there's anything history shows us, it never works out. Every single major free agent is supposed to want to play for the Lakers. The Lakers are supposed to be able to get these guys. And how many of them have actually ended up in LA? Not too many. So the Detroit Pistons are officially out of the playoff race. I mean, they were pretty much out for weeks now. Them being not officially eliminated was more of a formality than an actual chance of them to get into the playoffs. But with them now officially being out of the playoffs, it'll mean that this will be the third time in his 4 years of being the president of basketball operations as well as the coach that Stan Van Gundy has missed the playoffs in Detroit. And after this season, it's widely assumed that Stan Van Gundy's job is in jeopardy in Detroit, that he will at least lose the title of president of basketball operations, if not that, as well as his coaching position. And I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about this whole dual role thing for a bit, where a guy is the coach but also the president of basketball operations. I don't think any owner should give up this much power to just one guy, because outside of Greg Popovich for the San Antonio Spurs, it never works out. A couple of other examples besides Stan Van Gundy and the Detroit Pistons will be Doc Rivers with the LA Clippers and now Tom Thibodeau with the Minnesota Timberwolves. See, the problem with having your president of basketball operations also be the coach is that they are way too close to the situation to make good judgment calls and actually do what's best for the team. And on top of that, the fact that they were a coach on a previous team puts you in severe jeopardy of having favoritism amongst players. They try way too hard at recreating their team from the past, even if that team never worked out in the first place, either by going out and literally getting some of the same players that they had and like coaching on their last team, or by getting guys who are similar, who remind them of guys that they had on their last team. Just look at what Tom Thibodeau is doing with the Wolves this season. There's a reason why I often call them the Minnesota Timberwolves, because he is literally trying to transform them into the Chicago Bulls plus Karl Anthony Towns. He went out and got Jimmy Butler, then he went out and got Taj Gibson, and now he gave Derrick Rose a contract too. I'm legit worried that if Luol Deng or Joakim Noah are ever bought out or something by the Lakers or the Knicks, he will go out and sign those players too. Why? Because why not? They were good back when he was in Chicago, so they must still be good now. Those were two of his favorite guys in the NBA to coach. And then you look at Doc Rivers. He was doing the same thing with the Clippers. He no longer has that dual role because the Clippers realized this isn't working out so great. First of all, the first thing he did when he became president of basketball operations was go out and get his son. That should have been red flag number 1, 2, 3 and infinity. But then he goes off and brings in a nearly 40-year-old Paul Pierce, brings back Glenn Big Baby Davis, and brings in KG as some type of assistant coach or something. I mean, the only reason he didn't go after Rajon Rondo is because he already had Chris Paul. Do you guys see what I mean? These guys are way too close to the situations to be making good calls as the president of basketball operations. The one outlier to this is Greg Popovich, but his case is similar but kind of different because he's had a system for over 2 decades now that he's proven works, and he's stuck to that the entire time. It's not like he was trying to bring some old baggage from another team to the Spurs. No, he started with the Spurs and he stayed with the Spurs. There's a difference here. And on top of all of that, when you have a guy that has dual roles with a team, they might not be able to be the best coach they can be because they're also trying to be the president of basketball operations. They can't solely focus on coaching. So in the future, I don't think any team should give a coach the power to be the president of basketball operations as well, unless there's a special scenario where a guy starts off as a coach, proves that he can be one of the top coaches in the NBA over an extended period of time. Then in the future, maybe you can give them the Popovich treatment and just hand over the entire team to that coach. Like if Danny Ainge ever decides to step down or retire for Boston and Brad Stevens is still there doing his thing, being one of the best coaches in the NBA, they can go to him and be like, you know what, would you like to be president of basketball operations too? I wouldn't be mad at that. But outside of situations like that, it's just a terrible idea. But that actually wraps up all the news from yesterday, so now let's take a quick look at the games from last night. Well, this game was pretty much the determining game for who was going to get the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, with the Celtics only 2 games behind Toronto heading into the night. And well, the Raptors left no doubt as to who is going to be claiming the #1 seed, as they never really gave the Celtics a chance in this one, holding Boston to only 78 points on the night, 96 to 78 the final score in this one, and now Toronto has a 3-game lead on Boston. So unless they lose all of their remaining games and Boston wins all of their remaining games, the Toronto Raptors will be the #1 seed in the East. Like I said, the Pistons have officially been eliminated from the playoff race, and that is because they lost to the Sixers yesterday, Philly's 12th win in a row, 115 to 108. JJ Redick was on fire, 10 of 12 shooting from the field, 5 of 7 from deep, and 25 points. I swear he never misses against Detroit for some reason. Anthony Tolliver though was on fire for Detroit himself, hitting 9 of his 11 shots, 7 of 8 from deep for 25 as well. I really hope we can keep him after the season because he is one of the best team players in the game. With their playoff dreams on the line, Nikola Mirotic unleashed a side of himself that the rest of the NBA isn't ready for. So now we have playoff LeBron, national TV Rondo, untucked Kyrie, and hoodie Melo, if that's still a thing. So we have all of those guys, and now we also have shaven Nikola Mirotic too, as the man shaved his beard before the game and was unstoppable in the game. 25 points on 10 of 12 shooting for Mirotic as the Pelicans get the much needed 123 to 95 blowout win over the Grizzlies. Anthony Davis and Etwan Moore were both great too though. Moore scoring 30 and AD dropping 28 to go along with 13 rebounds, and now they have a 1-game lead over the Nuggets for the A seed in the West. So Kyle Kuzma just became the first Lakers rookie to ever have at least 4 30-point games in their rookie season, as his 30 points helped LA bury San Antonio 122 to 112. And this was also the first time that the Lakers have ever swept a season series with the Spurs in over 20 seasons. It's been a very strange season for the Spurs, that's for sure. Well, this wasn't much of a game at all, was it? I mean, I don't even know what to say. There were no standout individual performances from anyone on the Heat. It's not like they played some amazingly phenomenal game. It was just the Hawks unlocked a new level of trashness. 115 to 86 the final score, and at least the Hawks should be fun to watch next season after they get their pick in the lottery. So if you're a Hawks fan, there's that, but let's just hope that player can actually play. And the Magic beat the Mavericks. Not much to say, but JJ Barea will miss the rest of the season with an injury that he suffered last night. It's nothing serious, it's just that there's only like 3 games left in the season, so even the slightest injury is considered to be season ending at this point. But that actually wraps up all the action from last night. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos. Remember to vote for the player of the day, but also remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, that play was James Harden in his 38 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow, but until then, I am out of here. Peace!